Welcome back to Winners and Losers, ladies and gentlemen, the show where you look at football from the weekend just past in the Premier League. And what a weekend it was for you, Joe Tomlinson. Ooh. We've covered Chelsea, onto our winners, who are Manchester United after winning 3-0 at Old Trafford against Leicester City. The real talking point is about Marcus Rashford, but we'll get on to him. First, let's touch upon the game, because first half, felt a little bit lucky to be going in 0-0.
I know. It was a bit stinky, wasn't it? It was a bit stinky. Particularly the first 30 minutes, thought United could have been 2-3-0 down, to be honest with you.
Great from David De Gea.
Really good goalkeeping by David De Gea. Not particularly good. But, this does happen when it's heavy rotation. You've just had a massive game against Barcelona midweek as well. You've not got Rafa Varane, no Casemiro, no Eriksen, no Anthony, no Martial. There's a lot of changes to that first team. You're asking players to play out of position, not where they're used to. And as I've said on multiple shows by now, Erik ten Hag's best asset is his in-game work and his in-game changes. Tweaked it at half-time, and then United just started to run riot.
Was it a red card?
No. It was absolutely not a red card.
That wasn't a red card, and yet you were telling me the Koulibaly one was.
That wasn't a red card either. The freeze frames make it look an awful lot worse. There is a bit of contact, it's a bit clumsy, but the slow-mos and the freeze frames just make it look worse. I think he's fully in control. I don't think he's out of control. I don't think it's reckless. I think he pulls away as soon as his foot starts to make contact. Yeah, at worst, a yellow card for me.
Okay, interesting. Let me know what you guys thought of that decision in the comments below. But let's get on to the main talking point of the show, Marcus Rashford, because wowee, what a man he has become. The 25-year-old added another 2 more goals to his record. Unsurprisingly, he won Player of the Match, Man of the Match, after that win.
Should have been Bruno, that, mate. By the way, I don't want to interrupt you because we are going to talk about Rashford, but it should have been Bruno, Man of the Match. He was the best player on the pitch by an absolute mile and continues to be masterful for Manchester United at the moment. Captain, leading from the front, pressing like a madman, creating chances for fun. What a player. And I do not want to hear from those people. In fact, I want to hear from those people who are like, he can't do it in a structured system. He can't play in a team where there's cohesion and actual structure. He's good in free roaming areas. Rubbish. He's absolutely ridiculous, Bruno.
Well, we'll get onto those people later on because I have to also talk about those people when we speak about Marcus Rashford. Now, in that game against Leicester City, he had 5 shots, 3 on target, 2 goals. You mentioned Bruno, a lovely assist from Bruno outside the foot. He's now got his career best, Marcus Rashford, with 24 goals this season. He's already got 16 goals in 17 games after the World Cup.
It's ridiculous.
10 in 10 in the Premier League. He's scored in 7 successive Premier League home appearances now, and he's also scored against Leicester in the past 7 seasons. So they hate playing against him. In fact, this little stat
I want you to read this out.
Very hard to say. Rashford in all competitions this season, 23 goals.
24, mate. He's got 24 goals.
24 goals. Chelsea in the Premier League this season, not in all competitions, but in the Premier League, 23 goals. Not so good. Not so good. So, Joe, tell me how good Rashford has been this year. And what's changed then? Why has he really stepped up in these past months?
He's been so good. I think he is currently on form, the best forward, definitely, in world football. He's the best forward in world football on form. I'm not saying, as ability goes, we're not talking Kylian Mbappe here. We're not talking, Kevin De Bruyne levels. But in terms of on form, 16 goals in 17 games, he is the best forward. He's played up front, he's played off the left as well, he's played in a number of different roles in Europe right now. I think the second best is Karim Benzema, isn't it, in terms of goal output? I think he's got 10 since the World Cup, and then you're looking at, I think it's Wissam Ben Yedder in about 9, I think Erling Haaland's got 9, so this is about half of what Marcus Rashford has got since the World Cup. Absolutely terrifying player to play against. Whether he's running at you and you're standing you at 1v1, you are effectively dead. If he's running in behind you, you are absolutely dead. Your line has to be utter perfection because, as you saw yesterday, the 2 times, Faz slightly got it wrong. For even a millisecond, him and Suter, it was game over, goal. He is just unbelievable. I think there's a few things that have been changed in his game. I think the arrival of Benny McCarthy as a striking coach at Manchester United behind the scenes has gone quite under the radar. He's clearly worked heavily with Marcus Rashford on his finishing, which is much, much better this season than it has been in the past. He's always had that burst of speed and the physicality to get past players, but quite often in front of goal, he not let himself down, but he wasn't clinical.
It feels
he was
like
blasting it too much, wasn't placing his shot.
I still feel like he's blasting it. However, he keeps them so low.
He does strike the ball
They're
really
so
well.
low. Like, I feel like it's not very often you see. Well, he had an attempt. It was before, but I don't feel like I ever seen him open up his body all the time and try those finishes. It's always smashed.
Yeah. So really dangerous. I think Benny McCarthy deserves a lot of credit behind the scenes. Obviously, Erik Ten Hag deserves a huge amount of credit, mainly for refinding the confidence of Marcus Rashford and putting so much faith into him as sort of his out-and-out go-to guy in the forward line. I also think it helps, I'm going to say it, that Cristiano Ronaldo is no longer at the club. You know, I know that Ronaldo, people love him at home, and obviously, classically,
24 goals last season.
One of the best players in the history of the game. But I do think he hindered, to some level, the development of Marcus Rashford, because everything went through Cristiano Ronaldo when he played, and he played an awful lot of games last season. You had to pass in the ball, you had to try and find Ronaldo in the box, whether it's through crosses, whether it's through through balls. Now, you have to try and find Marcus Rashford. And I think him being the main man in the front line has absolutely brought the best out of him. I think his all-round play's improved. And I also think, again, he's been hammered a little bit from rival fans that Wout Weghorst is getting massive improvements out of Marcus Rashford. When he drops into the space, he pulls defenders out of position. And yes, he's not scoring the goals. He should have scored 2 yesterday. You know, his finishing has left a lot to be desired so far at Manchester United. But I love him. His off-the-ball work is so good. He leaves everything on the pitch, and what he started to do is by playing in a 10, and this is obviously something Erik Ten Hag has realised, he pulls centre-backs into the position to try and get hold of him, which leaves room in behind. He pulls players out of position. He wins balls back. He's actually really good in the transition, which I didn't think he would be. So I think those 3 factors have been absolutely pivotal, but overall, he's just a totally different player, Rashford.
Is there then not a worry that possibly next season, if you go out and spend £100 million on a striker, whatever it might be. I mean, you mentioned Victor Osimhen is the guy who normally, when speaking about who is the hottest person in the world, a lot of the comments will be saying Victor Osimhen. You're not slightly worried then if someone like him came in, it actually might...
No, because at the moment there's too much pressure on Rashford's shoulders to deliver every single week. If Rashford doesn't score, Manchester United struggle to score goals. They've been fortunate that he had no injuries really this season, touch wood, and he hasn't dropped in form at all. You know what I mean? If that was to happen, you look at the rest of the Manchester United forward line, you say, where do the goals come from? Martial can't stay fit. Wout Weghorst, as good as I've just hyped him up to be, isn't scoring the goals. Sancho's only just coming back. Garnacho's only 18. So you're looking at maybe Bruno Fernandes chips in with a fair few, but somebody else has got to start stepping up and scoring some goals alongside him, and that's how Manchester United go to the next level. They're fine at the moment as a top 4 competitor and a cup side, but if they want to go to the level of competing in a Champions League, competing in a league, they need more than just Marcus Rashford scoring goals for them.
Or maybe that's Jadon Sancho, who obviously found one against
How good did he look last night?
He looked really good in that 10 role as well. Hopefully that'll be a revival for him, finally.
It's a classic Erik Ten Hagism. He's decided, I'm going to put Sancho into the half spaces, link up with Bruno, play Bruno wide right. And bald Erik, just absolute mastermind again.
He's done very well, Erik. He's done very, very well. Finally, touch upon Rashford as well. He's not just been great in front of goal. He's already got 8 assists this season as well. His career best is 12, which he managed in 2019-20. So he really is having he's having a
How many do you
it feels
think he can
like it. For the rest of his year, what's he on now? We'll just say 24.
24. We've got 15 Premier League games left, and there's
if Rashford goes above 30, he's done insanely well, and he could do that. Considering
15 Premier League games,
100% that's possible. 100% that's possible. Not even just Premier League. He's got Europa League. He's got 24
I'd like to see him
in
get to
all
20
comps.
Premier League goals. Because I know that he's got he's on course for 30 plus in all competitions, but I want to see in the Premier League him hit 20 goals. I think that'd be a massive step forward in his career. If it's 20 Premier League goals and it's 10 assists, you'd be looking at that as an elite forward, world-class level forward.
When I was watching him yesterday against Leicester, it did feel like every time he was just in front of goal, it was guaranteed.
Yeah,
it felt like it even felt like Ward kind of knew that with the way he was defending his goal. One quick one then I do want to touch upon. Should he have played against France?
Should he have played against France? I mean, now you look back on it, hindsight's 2020, you'd say yes.
He did look good in the World Cup.
But he did look good in the World Cup, and obviously he was scoring for fun in the World Cup as well. And hindsight's 2020, isn't it? But realistically, the balance, if Foden hadn't have played, I think people would have been like, Foden's been sensational in this tournament. Why has Foden not played? You could not leave Bukayo Saka out of that tournament, could you? He was probably England's best player there, and Harry Kane is undroppable.
So it's a lose-lose. It's a lose-lose.
The option was really Rashford off the left, versus Foden versus Grealish. And yeah, he probably should have played, but hindsight's 2020. And at the time, I don't recall having a massive issue with Phil Foden playing out there, because prior to the World Cup, Phil Foden was on fire.
Yeah.
Since the World Cup, he's struggled.
Yeah, indeed he has. Well, guys, I want to know what you guys think at home about Marcus Rashford. Is he the most in-form striker in the world right now? The best striker or best forward in the world right now? Because we've seen a few people disagree. A lot of Victor Osimhen's, Maradona going out there at the moment. So let us know in the comments below. Yeah, not too bad. They're not too bad, that's for sure. If you want to see more Football Daily content, then click on screen right now. If you haven't already seen us discuss Graham Potter and Chelsea, check out that video that went live earlier today. If you've enjoyed the video, click the like button. And if you're not already subscribed to Football Daily, then hit the big red button. We'll see you later. Bye.